It's been a crazy few weeks for Palantir stock, having gone as low as $20 up to a high of $27.50. Palantir has hit a bump and pulled back last Friday. So what the hell is going on at Palantir, and should we be worried? In this video, I will explore this and much more, as well as what I consider to be a huge opportunity over the next 2 weeks. Now, we have a lot to get through in this video, so I will try to keep this short. But if you find any value in this, can I ask you to smash the like button? It literally costs you nothing, but it helps the channel out so much. I'm aiming to get 500 likes on this video. Help me achieve that goal. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new content like this. I want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. So always do your own due diligence and try to answer the question later in this video. But for now, let's get straight into it. So as I said at the start, it's been a crazy few weeks for Palantir and the AI market in general. And some Wall Street analysts have been making huge predictions over the past few days, which I will look at in a moment. But there are two sides to every story. And first, I want to look at a very interesting article that discusses both the good and the bad, because it's important to look at both sides to get a balanced view. Now, this is a very interesting article. Palantir inks deal with Star Labs. Is the stock ready to head to the stars? Now, I say this is very interesting because this highlights both the good and the bad points of Palantir's valuation and their future growth. Whether you are bullish or bearish on the stock, there is some very good points made here. So let's take a look at the deal and whether this could help send the stock to the moon and beyond. Palantir has signed a deal to become the exclusive supplier of software data management solutions for Starlab's commercial space station. So Starlabs is a joint venture between Voyager Space, Airbus, Mitsubishi and MDA Space that is working to build and operate a commercial space station. As it says here, Starlab is trying to get its space station into orbit in 2028, just ahead of the International Space Station being decommissioned in 2030. The JV said Palantir's technology will help identify potential issues and predict maintenance, prolonging the life of critical components. It added that they will use data modeling through digital twins and AI technologies to enhance Starlab's operations. And Palantir is the obvious choice when you think about it. They already have experience. Since 2021, the company has been working with the US Space Force, and last year, Palantir extended 3 contracts with the Space Force and the US Air Force with a combined worth of $110 million. What we don't know yet is just how much this partnership with Starlabs is worth to Palantir, but it is another example of how the company's technology is being selected when advanced mission-critical solutions are needed. So that's all good, but then there is some key points here about the valuation. Starlab win is another example of the company's growth in the commercial space. This segment had 27% revenue growth in the first quarter to $299 million, with US commercial growth of 40% to $150 million. The problem that Palantir has run into is that the government revenue growth has slowed, particularly with the US government. Government revenue grew 16% in the quarter to $335 million, with US government growth of 12% to $257 million, meaning that the company is valued at a forward price to sales multiple of 21. Overall revenue growth of 21% is not enough to justify the valuation. So going forward, Palantir will have to keep winning both commercial and government contracts just to justify its valuation. The Spacelab deal helps on the commercial side, while a $480 million contract win last month with the US Army helps on the government side. But they need more deals like these, and until Palantir's revenue growth starts to accelerate, it's unlikely that the stock price will see any major growth in the short term at least. Palantir has always been called high risk, high return, and the long-term prospects are great, but in the short term, this high valuation metric has caused some analysts to turn more bearish, which is exactly what we've seen this week when Brian White at Monnes Crespi downgraded PLTR stock to a sell and set a price target of just $20 on the stock. But he is not the only one to downgrade the stock this week, and it has had an effect on the share price. Just look at this short clip from Yahoo Finance.
Monnes Crespi Hart downgrading Palantir to a sell. The note saying the company's rally gives rise to a gluttonous valuation. And I got some more choice quotes here from analyst Brian White saying the downgrade comes after a, quote, dismal earnings season for enterprise software. Also failed to live up to the 18-month Gen AI propaganda cycle. So I think some biases might be revealed right there.
Yeah. But he also, one of the things he says is that we have not seen the Gen AI nirvana, in his words, propagated by the enterprise software industry. He said that's proven to be a revenue illusion this year, that the boost that we have seen for some of these enterprise software companies has not necessarily been from Gen AI in terms of the actual revenue growth. A couple other things to note about Palantir here. The stock is up about 39% this year, but for Wall Street, unusually negative sentiment from sell-side analysts. There are 5 buys, 8 holds, 7 sells, including this new one from White. And, we tend to talk about how bullish the street tends to be in general. Yes. It's rare for them to have sell ratings. So to have 7 sells on a stock is pretty rare.
It's also a very highly charged stock. It's a Peter Thiel enterprise, so politics get involved. I'm not entirely surprised, but you're right. It's very good to point out that Wall Street typically is much more bullish on these software enterprise plays. Let's go to the Wi-Fi Interactive real quick where I'll chart it. $30 per share is a critical level here. And what I'm seeing, so this is the IPO, this is that initial spike, and we might be tracing out a head and shoulders bottom here. If that's the case, then you take a measured move from the bottom of that to the top and probably puts us around $45, $50 if we can break above. But it looks to me like the pattern is incomplete, and it's going to take a little bit more backing and filling to complete that.
Interesting.
So guys, what do you think of that? Do you think that Palantir stock is right to be downgraded now? Has the company become overvalued after gaining 70% in the past year? But more importantly, will Palantir stock go up or down in the coming weeks? Leave a comment below. Now, before I look at some crucial data which will make you think about the stock's current trajectory, I forgot to mention that Palantir also announced that it has been selected by the Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, ARPA-H, to support the agency's mission to accelerate better health outcomes. Palantir's AIP and Foundry software will help the agency by providing a data strategy and infrastructure that will underpin business operations and enable continuous improvement. The contract is worth $19 million over 2 years. So overall, that's $9 million a year, and this is very small, but it is another multi-million-dollar deal nonetheless. Now, some interesting numbers can be seen here in the stock options. For June 28th, there was a massive sales on the calls, with options exercisable around the current price seeing huge volume and dropping as much as 84%. Whereas some puts that were nearly worthless just a few days ago have gone up as much as 360%. But these are the options for next week, so they're highly influenced by the stock dipping on Friday. But what's extremely interesting is the huge volume now on July 19 options. Huge volume on the $25 calls, and especially on the $22 puts. Have I missed something? Why is there so much volume for July 19? Why is there more volume for July 19 than there is for any of the other weeks between now and then? What do you think about this? Now, there's a lot of talk on social media right now about Palantir, some of which that I've seen is extremely bullish, almost delusionally bullish, while some other stuff I've seen is so negative, I'm left wondering, so always do your own due diligence. Remember that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, but if you enjoyed my analysis, then please like and subscribe. I hope you make a load of money on this stock. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll catch you in the next video.